In less than 10 weeks, Japan is expected to host one of the biggest sporting events of the year, the Summer Olympics, amid a global pandemic. But the COVID-19 situation in the country is getting worse. The fatalities are rising by the day, and the healthcare system is reeling under the pressure. In fact, as per a recent poll conducted, more than 80% of Japanese oppose hosting the Olympics this year. The weekend survey by the Asahi Shimbun Daily found 43% of respondents want the games cancelled, and 40% want a further postponement. The latest survey comes after Japan expanded the COVID-19 state of emergency on Friday, as the nation battles a fourth wave of infections. The sudden surge in COVID infections has pushed country's healthcare system to the brink. Medical professionals have repeatedly warned of shortages and burnouts. Japan is struggling to catch up with other developed economies in protecting its population against COVID-19. While it has almost finished giving at least one jab to more than 4 million frontline medical workers, the vaccine rollout for older people and other at-risk groups is only just picking up speed. About 3% of the population of 126 million have been inoculated so far. There are reports of problems with the vaccination booking system, queue jumping by local politicians and businessmen, and millions of doses sitting in industrial freezers. While the government remains adamant that the Olympics will proceed as planned, it has pledged to take proper antivirus measures to make sure the Olympics are safe. Japan's doctors and nurses have emerged as outspoken opponents of the Tokyo 2020 Games, claiming the event risks spreading the virus and will divert medical resources that are desperately needed elsewhere. Japan faces the challenge of holding the Olympics this summer from July 23, welcoming athletes from around the world without causing new outbreaks. In fact, the attempt to hold Olympics in a pandemic is a test of how much normalcy is possible and safe. We are joined live by Phoebe Amoroso from Tokyo for more on this. Hello, Phoebe. According to several polls held, more than 80% of Japanese people want the Olympics to be cancelled or postponed. Why is the government still adamant to hold the sporting event?
That's a question that many people are asking, and certainly there have been a huge number of protests. Not just the polls, but the government has also seen a petition of 350,000 signatures calling for the games to be cancelled. But it's quite a complicated issue, and there are many stakeholders involved. There's the IOC, the Japanese Olympic Committee, the Tokyo organisers, the Japanese government, and all of these will have a say in the discussion. People have been looking at the contract between the IOC and the Tokyo organisers, and there is apparently one clause within that specifies cancellation, and that's a decision for the IOC to make. So it's unclear what would happen if Japan were to pull the plug on the games now. It's likely that the local organisers would bear a huge amount of the costs, and whether they be covered for insurance or that remains unclear. Suddenly, one legal expert has said that the most viable way would be for the IOC and Japan to jointly announce cancellation in order to split the insurance costs. But the IOC gets a lot of its funding from broadcasting rights and sponsorship, so it's going to want to push forward for financial reasons. Here in Japan, there are also political reasons as well. It's the Beijing Winter Olympics in 2022. China is a regional rival, so Japan would not want to be losing face to China. And there is also concerns that it's already been postponed 1 year. How much further can this be pushed down the line? That's what people are also asking. The Games, more broadly, are being seen suddenly from those in the organising committee as a symbol of a revival, and would be portrayed as a symbol of hope after some very tough times. So there are some complicated issues at play here.
Yes. Phoebe, there's another question. International Olympic Committee Chief Thomas Bach has just said that at least 75% of Olympic and Paralympic athletes and team members staying at Tokyo's Olympic Village will be vaccinated by the Games. Can you really give us more updates on this?
Certainly, that's one thing that Bach said today, that he's confident that over 80% would be vaccinated and is strongly recommending that. Also for journalists who will be coming, there was also talks of keeping the number of stakeholders as low as possible in order to stop the spread of infections, to just minimise the numbers here. And overall, in today's meeting of all the different organising parties, the big message was that several test events have been held successfully, 4 test events. President Seiko Hashimoto has said that 700 athletes, when nearly 6,000 stakeholders from around 50 countries have participated, and not one event has led to infection spreading. There was a case where one diving coach came from overseas and was found to be positive, but was quarantined successfully at the airport. So the rhetoric today was very much reassuring the public that the playbook is being implemented, the safety guidelines are being implemented, and they will be a safe and secure games.
This brings me to the third and last question. What are the other safety measures adopted by the Japan government to make sure the Olympics are safe?